The ugly sexist face of male politicians is becoming even more stark, even as the outrage against the Delhi gang rape victim intensifies in the country. In West Bengal, politicians are taking the lead for some reason. Well, a day after Congress MP Abhijit Mukherjee, the president's son, was slammed for his crude, gender-insensitive remarks, CPM leader Anisur Rahman has embarrassed his party, taking potshots at the Trinamool government's compensation for rape victims. The left MLA said he would like to ask Mamata Banerjee what would be her fee if someone raped her, given the fact that victims are being given a compensation of 20,000 rupees. It is ironic that this obnoxious comment is going unpunished in a party where one of the tallest leaders happens to be a woman and a ferocious defender of women's rights, Brinda Karat. Will Brinda allow this leader to get away with just an apology? It's a crucial test of intent for the CPM leader. Well, this sick and sexist remark follows very closely on the heels of another obnoxious comment made by President Pranab Mukherjee's son, Abhijit Mukherjee. Mukherjee on Thursday had said that protesters in Delhi were dented and painted. Nobody knows what he meant by that, but it was offensive. And he said that these were women chasing 2 minutes of fame, that they attended discotheques. Well, these two men are the faces of a sick mindset in our political system. It's the mindset of leaders who are entrusted with the responsibility of protecting us. Well, despite these sexist attacks by our netas, the parties these men represent are too cowardly to act against them. In fact, the parties say that an apology is enough for them to actually be given clean chits. They're not pressing any action against those who've shocked and shamed the nation by their outrageous comments.
In politics, there is legitimate criticism against an opponent if you are using political language. But this type of language against a woman leader is totally unacceptable. My party has strongly opposed such a statement. It has made a public censure of the individual concerned, and there is no room for such statements in the party.
Well, Anisur Rahman's party, though condemns his remarks, makes no promise to either sack him or take disciplinary action against the coward. The same is the case with the Congress. They haven't taken any action against Pranab Mukherjee's son, Abhijit Mukherjee. They haven't even taken any action against Sanjay Nirupam and his comments against a BJP leader as well. Senior leader Salman Khurshid has said that the MP, Abhijit Mukherjee, has apologized and the matter should end there. Therefore, anybody can say anything as far as the Congress is concerned, but if they apologize, then all is well and it's sunny weather for everyone.
आपको कोई बात अच्छी लगे, अच्छी ना लगे, कोई बात उचित हो, अनुचित हो, उसको कहकर संदेश देकर बात को समाप्त करना चाहिए ना। जो चीज आप समझते हैं कि उचित नहीं है, उस बात को आप दोहराएंगे तो वो उचित होगा। जो चीज उचित नहीं है उसको वहीं समाप्त कर देना चाहिए। जो चीज उचित है उसको और प्रकाश में लाना चाहिए, उसका प्रसारण होना चाहिए, उसको और लोगों तक पहुंचाना चाहिए।
Well, we're opening up our phone lines this evening here on Headlines Today. We want to know what you think. It's a question we've been asking all week and we're pained that we continue to ask it. Are sexist politicians encouraging violence against women? You've got a leader of the CPM asking how much Mamata Banerjee will charge if she is raped. You've got Abhijit Mukherjee, the president's son, a coward by himself, saying that dented and painted women attend protests in Delhi. and you've got a BSP MLA and an MP who says that rape is invited because women wear European clothes. All right, we already have our first caller. Neelam from Coimbatore is on the phone line with us. Neelam, go ahead.
What I want to say, I am from UP and I very much agree that the sexist politicians, they encourage rape and violence against women because many of politicians' own relatives and friends have started this trend of raping women in cars, and that has been taken over to the lower strata of society. It was actually started by them. It was not reported. They were not taken to task. That is the reason it is the fastest growing crime in the country.
Well, that certainly is one of the compelling factors behind growing crime in the country, considering that politicians are public figures and people look at them and perhaps at one level even emulate them. They're supposed to be role models in one sense, but who really is a role model in this political landscape is something that makes for an entirely separate story. Kannan from Ludhiana is our second caller this evening. Kannan, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah, good evening. It's quite shocking, such kind of remarks by the political leaders. It is true that though we say proudly that we are a large democratic country, but the political system in India is still have we got our political priorities creeped in by such kind of uneducated, filthy political leaders who scuttle the whole system. It is totally unacceptable passing such remarks against women. And also, I must say that we should have political parties should come up, on ground and expel such kind of leaders, whether it is Mr. Abhijit Mukherjee or Mr. Rahman. And it's not only date. I mean, such even such words. If it's not acceptable, and they must be brought to book, and they should not be led to lead the party, which is we must call them as tainted leaders, whether they do it rape or they call or say something like this.
All right, thanks, Kannan, for calling in and speaking your mind. Anjali from Noida is with me on the phone line. She's another viewer who's calling in. Anjali, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, Ms. Surendra Karath, who is heading the CPM party, and she claims it is the party of laborers and lower class, and it shows the interest of those people. And the CPM person is asking Mamata Banerjee what is the cost of the rape. And Surendra Karath has not still suspended that person. And it shows how can they will take care of the people, laboring class and farmers and these classes women when the CPM leader is asking the cost of various rapes. I think for laborer woman, there must be some cost for even that laborer woman rape also. I think he is estimating cost of these rape cases. Such person should be just not thrown out of the party. CPM should take a criminal action should be taken against these people who are passing such kind of cost of the rapes. And how can it be money? What kind of mental set this person is having?
Anjali from Noida, thanks for calling in. I want to get in a voice. I've got with me one of India's best known activists and journalists, Madhu Kishwar, with me live as well. Madhu, there's a sense of disbelief that politicians could make statements like these on camera, at any time, but especially when the national mood is tuned towards the safety of women, towards, action against people who commit crimes against women. What do you make of it? I mean, you've covered this sort of thing for so many years. What do you make, of this complete impunity?
See, in a way, I'm glad it's all pouring out in unguarded moments. However, it's much easier to call politicians to account and get an apology for their foul language and foul sentiments, but far harder to call them to account for their foul acts. Take one of the most recent examples of Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who was actually prostituting a woman lawyer in return for a judgeship of the High Court. Nothing could be more venal than that. He's back not only as a spokesperson of the Congress party within a very short period, but is now pontificating on rape laws and what will make it better. I mean, the utter absurdity, brazenness of both the man and the party. The least they can do is to keep him under covers. Now, those acts haven't been called to account. I think instead of demanding fast-track courts only for rape victims, I think it's far more important we demand fast-tracking of cases against politicians.
True.
Because
good point.
Many of them are accused of rape, many of them accused of murder, kidnapping, name it and you have it. And their excuse is, but we haven't been indicted. I think we should demand that all those against whom there are cases, they should be decided within a time frame of 6 months, and the country should be allowed to watch them on camera. We should have live TV recordings, fast track them so we know.
There should be. I completely agree with you, Madhu. It's a fast track court, not just against people who commit rape, but even politicians. Why can't we have fast track courts to actually take action against politicians who do this sort of thing? We've got another caller, Lakshmi, who's calling in from Hyderabad. Lakshmi, go ahead. Madhu Kishwar is with us. She's listening as well. Go ahead. What do you want to say, Lakshmi?
Sure. I just wanted to tell my opinion. Why are we talking about fast-track courts? Yes, I understand fast-track courts are important. Why the judgment is not taking immediate effect? Why are we keeping them under custody and why are we feeding them from our government? When girls are facing problems every day, why are we not getting a permanent solution for this? How many days will this happen? It's been 8 rapes after the one which happened 9 days before for the 23-year-old girl. It's been 9 rapes in a row which are coming into the picture. Let's talk about the people which are not being known to people like us. It's going to continue if there is no proper punishment given to her who are doing this kind of thing.
Okay, that's a point well taken, Lakshmi from Hyderabad. Thanks for calling in. Narasimhan from Bangalore, I understand, is with us. He's our next caller. Narasimhan, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead with your comment.
Yeah. These, instead of setting fast track and hot tracks, it is better when once the medical tests prove that rape has taken place and the accused is to be tried, immediate action should be taken to hang him in public, not in private and all those things. So then what happens, the future rapists would get a shiver to try such indecent acts.
That's an emotional response. I understand your anger. That's one of the things that we've been hearing about a great deal. You know, hang this person or castrate them or chemical castration. That's one of the things we've been hearing a lot. But you know, now the Madhu, I want to bring you back in here. The issue has broadened quite a bit, hasn't it, Madhu? It's not just about the Delhi gang rape. It's about politicians. It's about you know, establishment apathy, and you know, all the things that we're seeing happen right now, Madhu, you know, clean chits to these politicians and things like that. It's only because of this constant pressure that's on them right now, by the media, by people on the street, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm glad the media is not letting go. However, may I make 2 suggestions to headlines today. One, let us please let headlines today take the lead in providing us a daily bulletin from all over the country of what's happening in other rape cases. I mean, you know, there are 5-year-olds who are being gang raped and then burned to death.
Yes.
There is this case, very recent one, where the woman was in hospital and gang raped in the bathroom by 3 sweepers. And then the police is harassing the victim. We've seen in Punjab, a woman burnt herself. These are all tips of the iceberg. I really think we need a comprehensive picture. That's one. And how, if there is a pattern of police misuse of laws to terrorize the victims, which is what happens in almost all cases. Now, my second suggestion is, see, if we stay stuck with breast beating and emotive harangues like hang them, this, that and the other, my question to people who are demanding hanging for rapists is, a police force which doesn't even know how to use the lathi judiciously.
Yes.
It routinely uses that lathi to terrorize. Do you want to hand over AK-47 to such a police force? The more stringent and draconian the punishment, the higher the bribe rate will be for fixing evidence in favor of the accused. And it's far more important that we start a serious conversation, discussion on police and judicial reforms, because a lawless police will only produce a lawless society. You and I, politicians, want a lawless police because they can use it as private militia. But you and I can't afford a lawless police, because once people do not trust and respect the machinery of governance, of law and order, then it is mayhem. Then it is free for all. You and I can't afford it.
Kailash from Mumbai is on the phone line with us. Kailash, go ahead.
Yeah, quick 3 points. Number one, these are not only politicians, they are MPs, Member of Parliament. And whole India is agitated and asking for strict laws. How can we expect a good law from such type of MPs? Number two, we have Justice Burma Commission. We don't need commissions on laws. We have so many commissions, so many reports. Justice Burma should look after the politician's mindset. Number three, the report is talking about. What money is he talking about? Just for some money, FBI and this and that. The reforms are the police reforms, the law powers, getting the judiciary right and getting the system right. These are the real reforms required. What rubbish Manmohan Singh is talking about?
Well, that's clearly a point well taken. This is irritation. This is the voice of citizens being completely fed up with politicians saying exactly as they please and no action whatsoever being taken against them. Anisur Rahman of the CPM, that's the man on your screen right now, who's said something about Mamata Banerjee. But will Brinda Karat, who belongs to the same party, put her money where her mouth is and take action against that offensive, bigoted leader of the CPM? Bindu is our next caller. She's from Bangalore. Bindu, go ahead. What's on your mind?
I just want to know that we are talking about politicians speaking like that. We know they are corrupt. We know they are bad. We cannot do anything against them because the police is bad. The police is not taking any action. I have one suggestion.
Please go ahead. Okay, we've lost the line with Bindu. We'll try and get that back. I hope Bindu calls us back. Jagdish from Noida is our next caller. Jagdish, what's on your mind?
Yes, sir. I wish to say that please record this statement and make a CD of this and distribute at the time of elections to the persons.
Okay, Madhu, one of the questions that I've been asked by a lot of viewers who've called in over the last few days is, don't the constituents, don't the people in these politicians' constituencies learn about the comments that these people make? Are constituents completely, ignorant, or do they just not care that their leaders are being, projected this way in the national media, saying these awful, horrible things? What is it? How does one explain that? Because they voted to power over and over again.
Yes, but you have to understand, and I'm sure you know it better than me, that usually it's a choice between Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And so the electors, the constituents, take out of the cafeteria of choices, which are usually poor choices, because money and muscle power dominate our electoral politics, which is why we need to focus on electoral reforms to weed out criminal elements, people at least whose track record is known. Lot of crime that politicians commit never gets registered because it's become extremely dangerous to register FIRs against politically connected people. So that's why I'm saying, let's start. I'm never for special courts, I'm never for special fast track courts for this or that crime, but for politicians, whoever is right now implicated in any crimes, I'm all for fast track courts. So at least we can weed out the outright criminal elements from our parliament, from our state assemblies. Not just parliament, also state assemblies. Secondly, my appeal to you is, please spend the next year 1 hour at least every day on the kind of police reforms, judicial reforms we need, the kind of electoral reforms that can cleanse our politics. Let us have a comparative picture. Which are the societies which have done well on these accounts? What do we learn from our own past history? What do we learn from the best practices the world over? And have a police and judicial system which is worthy of a democracy. The existing police and judicial system were devised as instruments of control and oppression by our colonial rulers. We haven't gotten rid of that. Neither the mindset nor have we got rid of the laws. So
your points are very well taken, Madhu. I completely agree with you when you say that there has to be a constructive way forward. Things need to change on the ground, and the media can certainly lead by example. You'll have no argument from me on that, because media pressure is one of the most valuable things issues like these can actually have. And I thank you for joining us this evening, Madhu, and listening to our callers and giving us your wisdom as well on this extremely emotive and sensitive issue. And let's hope we can make a better India going forward. But of course, one of the things that Madhu said does stand out. How about fast-track courts and fast-track processes to punish politicians who actually step out of line and say things that are offensive to the citizens of this country? Thanks to all our viewers who took the time out to call in. Apologies to those who couldn't be put on air. We get a lot of calls when we open our phone lines, but we will give you another opportunity very soon.